I really did like what Earfun did with the Air Pro 3, so it did get my hopes quite high for this specific set of earphones, and I can honestly say these have not left me disappointed at all. Thank you to the folk at Earfun for making this review possible by sending me this demo unit. All thoughts and opinions are my own. So let's jump straight into how these are built. The unboxing of these earphones is practically identical to that of the Air Pro 3. You get the earphones in the case, a USB-A to USB-C charging cable, extra small, medium and XL ear tips with large already on the earphones, and you get the literature as well. The case has a neat black matte finish to it, with the Earfun branding having a reflective finish to it. It's got the USB-C charging port behind it and can also be wirelessly charged, and has the LED notification lights on the front of the case. When you open the case, you'll see a new set of LEDs on the inside which light up the earphones, which is cool. There is a sync and reset button here, which is always welcome. The earphones carry over a similar design as the Air 3 Pro, with the Earfun branding on the stems having a mirror-like finish. The touch area is recessed, so is easy to feel when using it, and these are quite comfortable to wear over prolonged periods of time. I tend to have pain in my left ear with some earphones, but I haven't faced this problem with these earphones. If you happen to get caught in the rain or go to the gym, your earphones should be safe thanks to them having an IPX5 rating. These come with active noise cancelling, Bluetooth version 5.4, wireless charging and even multi-point connectivity. And if you do want to control the finer aspects of these earphones, you can do so via the Earfun Audio app. When you go into the app, you'll see the battery percentages for the earphones and case, and you can also name them something else if you'd like to. You can toggle between the normal, ambient sound and noise cancelling modes. You can choose between a few ANC modes as well. Strong ANC, Balance ANC, AI Environmental Adaptive ANC, AI Ear Adaptive ANC and wind noise cancelling. Each one alters how these handle the ANC, and they work well. You get a game mode you can activate, but LDAC will have to be off to activate this. You can toggle your in-ear detection off and on, which is a nice feature to have. You get a Earfun equalizer, which I'll speak about in the chapter about sound. You get an option to disable all controls, which is good to have. You can customize your controls from left and right earbuds as well. This lets you disable each earbud if you want. A single tap on the left bud will reduce the volume, a double tap will play and pause your media, a triple tap will take you to the previous track, and a long press will let you toggle your noise control options. The right earbud will increase the volume with a single tap, a double tap will play and pause your media, a triple tap will take you to the next track, and a long press will activate your voice assistant. These controls can be modified to handle other features as well, so you can take your time to figure out what works best for you. Moving on, you can activate a dual device mode, which will only work if your LDAC option is turned off. You can go into the Bluetooth audio quality to choose between LDAC or the aptX options. You can choose which mic takes priority or leave it on auto. You can play around with the voice prompt settings and volume, which is a nice feature to have, as some voice tones can be too loud from a few manufacturers. You can enable LE audio and Google Fast Pair, and you have Auracast as well if you want to use it. And you also have a find headphones option, which is always nice to have in case you want to locate your earphones when in Bluetooth range. When it comes to its multi-device pairing, I think a lot of manufacturers are handling this the same way now, because if you are connected to two devices and you're connected to one of the two devices and one of the devices rings, it latches onto that absolutely immediately. But when you are consuming media, I do wish it was more immediate, because if I'm listening to any audio or media on a specific device and I press play on the other one, it doesn't automatically hand over to that. You have to pause the media on the device you're listening to and only then press play on the other one. Only then does the audio come through. So you have to do that vice versa. I do remember using a specific set of earphones that when you did press play on the other device, it paused, the other device that was already playing, and it played the media on the one that you press play on, but I don't remember which one it was. Something always told me it was the Earfun Air Pro 3, but I could be wrong. But this is the way to do it. I mean, ideally, if you do press play on a device, that's the one you want taking over the media, and the other one should pause. But then again, this is how it works. So maybe they can implement this with a software update or something. I'm not too sure. Then when it comes to its latency, honestly, I found it to be pretty good even with the game mode off, because I mean, there is a bit of a sync issue with any visual media. It is expected with anything wireless, but when you do put on the game mode in particular, it does speed up quite a bit. I mean, it is an improvement compared to when the game mode was off. Now, no doubt you have to have the LDAC codec off for this to operate, because There's a whole bunch of stuff going on, so you do need to have the LDAC option off. I think even the multi device pairing needs to be off if you want game mode on. So it needs to have all of its processing power focusing on this, but the latency does help. Earfun does claim that when the game mode is on, it does speed up to as quick as 50 milliseconds in response time. So anyway, instead of going on, here's a quick demo to show you how it would perform with games as well as with videos with game mode off and on as well.
We have taken the lead.
Game mode.
These come with 11mm wool composite dynamic drivers, have a frequency response of 20 Hz all the way up to 20,000 Hz, and support codecs from SPC, AAC, aptX as well as the LC3 codec. So if you do listen to higher res music, it will switch over to the aptX codec, which is bound to give you much clearer and sharper detail in your overall audio.
Game mode.
On a volume front, I've spent most of my time listening to these anywhere between 30 to 40% volume, and it's never really felt like I need to crank the volume any higher because it sounds fairly rounded.
When it comes to its active noise cancelling, it does come with 6 microphones. That's 3 microphones per earphone. And I have to say, you know, I have heard a lot of earphones that have 6 microphones and do handle active noise cancelling. Some of them do seem a little too aggressive. Now, this one, Earfun claims that they can cut noises down to as much as 50 decibels worth of noise. I don't doubt that. I don't have the equipment to test this out, but it does sound similar or at par with some other products that I do have that claim the same amount of noise isolation or cancellation. Now, the thing is, I stay very close to a very busy street, and I have done a call chapter when I was standing next to a very busy road, and it did a very good job of cutting out tire noises, engine noises, any droning sounds really. It does drop it down significantly lower. Fan motors, AC motors, it handles very well. Pressure horns as well. Well, to a certain extent, it does isolate that reasonably well. But considering it's a burst of energy, it doesn't cut it out as well as it would a droning noise. ANC is not cut out really for that in any case. So it is a good performer specifically for droning noises. And those same microphones that handle the active noise cancelling also help with the environmental noise cancelling for any phone call. So it will help isolate your voice over all the noise around you. So if you do want to know how your voice would carry over to your recipient in a very busy setting, there's really only one way to show you how. So I'm calling you from the usual busy street I normally do all of my call tests from, but today I think there's some holiday going on, so there's not as much traffic as I expected, but you will get the occasional two-wheeler, four-wheeler, maybe three-wheeler, and you might also get a truck going by with a pressure horn. So if those do come in, it will give you a better sense of how much these earphones can deal with. But of course, because I'm out in an open space, there are all sorts of environmental noises that will come in. So this is of course a kind of busy setting. These earphones will do significantly better in a controlled environment like an office or at home, no doubt. So anyway, I have been on the camera microphone all this time to give you a sense of this environment around me, and I'll switch over to the Earfun Air Pro right about now. So this is the overall tonality you can expect to carry on over to your recipient, and of course you are sitting in the reviewer seat, so you can assess to see whether or not you like this overall tonal quality that's coming over to you. Now, of course, one thing I do like to do when I'm doing these call tests in my in-depth reviews is cycle between the active noise cancelling mode. So right now, in fact, I'll jump into the app right about now. And as you can see, I am on the strong ANC mode. So this is the maximum ANC that's available, of course. And what I'll do is I'll jump on over to the ambient mode right now. So right now it's on the ambient default mode, and of course it's feeding in a lot of all the noises that are here. I did like how it performed with the ANC mode. The ANC is actually particularly good even when I'm this close to this main road. And this is the natural mode. It's just done a slight shift over, and of course I can still hear stuff, but there has been a shift for me. You'd be the best just to see if there is a shift for you. And I'll shift on to normal now.
So right now this is passive. For me, it's a passive isolation right now. So it's not feeding in any noise. So of course I can hear everything that's coming in, more naturally. But I do of course prefer that noise cancelling mode. So I'll go back onto noise cancelling. Now, the whole point of this exercise is to see if the audio recording you're hearing right now is through the environmental noise cancelling that's it's handling. So, when I have the active noise cancelling on, does this put more load mechanically on the microphones more? Does it put more load on the algorithms more? Because right now ANC and ENC are being handled. So again, you are sitting in the reviewer seat. So what I'll do is I'll also switch over to the balanced ANC now. So there was a shift. I've heard a slight difference. It's not maybe as aggressive in the active noise cancelling. And I'll go over to AI environment adaptive ANC now. She makes an announcement about it, and I can hear a slight shift that happens. And then I'll go over to AI ear adaptive ANC. Again, there was a shift. I am hearing, I think, higher frequencies are bleeding in with this. And I'll go over to wind noise cancelling. So of course there is no wind noise right here, because with wind noise you can hear the popping and clicking when wind hits the microphones. I'm sure to do much better in that environment. But right now, considering where I am, I think the strong ANC does handle itself very well. I think considering how far I am from the road, it does do a pretty good job. In fact, I have had a few trucks that have gone by blowing pressure horns, and this one does do a terrifically good job on on active noise cancelling front. So of course, this is the demo to see how well it handles its fault tests for environmental noise cancelling, and to see how your vocal tonality will carry on over to your recipient. So I do hope that this demo has given you a better understanding about these earphones, and I'll see you back at the studio.
These come with 10 wool composite dynamic drivers and have a frequency response of 20 Hz all the way up to 20,000 Hz. They support the SPC, AAC, aptX, adaptive and LDAC codecs, and also support the aptX lossless codecs as well. So if you really want to get high bitrate, you go with the aptX losses. On a volume front, I found myself listening to this a lot between about 35 and 40%. It's very enjoyable around that volume level. It's kind of very well balanced, but if you do want a little more sound, it'll have to be pumped up to about 50% volume, where it is the most full sounding, to me at least. Now, when I did go past about 55-60%, I found it to get a little too loud for me. So if you do want to protect your ears in the long run, I wouldn't recommend listening to this beyond 60-65% volume over prolonged periods of time. When it comes to its soundstage, it performs like most other TWS earphones with good left and right separation and a dead center phantom channel. Now, you will get the illusion of some tones coming from a little further out of these earphones, but this does occur rarely, and this usually happens when you're listening to a higher res codec in particular, and if you have access to high resolution audio as well. When you listen to bad recordings or just the SBC and AAC codecs, it is sort of more withheld. It doesn't sound as wide, of course, with the smaller bitrate codecs, but of course, having a higher bitrate will make a big difference when it comes to staging as well as its imaging. And speaking about its imaging, well, like I said, compared to the SPC and AAC codecs, when you put on the LDAC codec, there is a sense of it being much cleaner. In fact, a lot of wireless earphones that support the LDAC codec that I've tested usually just have the LDAC codec for the heck of it. I mean, you can just slap on the stick and say, listen, this supports high res because it can transfer that bitrate. But the real question is, does the drivers really support that amount of data? So this one, definitely there is a shift when you put onto the LDAC or and when you jump to the LDAC compared to the SPC and AAC codec. So I've usually just listened to this on the LDAC codec because it does handle it much better than the SPC and AAC, and things just tighten up. Things get a little sharper. They get better defined. They have a much better posture when you are listening to a high-res source and a high-res codec as well. So I would recommend using the LDAC codec if you are looking for the nuances in the music and you really do want to focus on all those little details. High frequencies are certainly tuned to ensure that you never face any amount of ear fatigue during shorter or longer listening sessions. This range does lean back into its seat a little bit. At no point does it lean into you aggressively, and I like that it's got this sense of composure. It remains well detailed and has a good amount of separation in this range no matter what you throw at it. Shimmers from percussive instruments have an almost tangible texture here, making this range very easy to focus in on and appreciate any nuance you want to. Listening to RP Alto perform this masquerade, everything from the treble clef of the piano to shakers, this remains quite the easy listening number, and it translates well over these earphones with a good amount of effortlessness. There is some richness that does come through without being over sharpened, which is the way to present this range for music. Mid frequencies are recessed compared to the highs, but Earfun has maintained a well-rounded lower mid-range which many manufacturers aren't able to master. This range really does do a terrific job with vocals. I've gotten so used to hearing thinned out vocals over many reviews with other earphones, so this comes as a very nice refresh. These earphones handle separation quite well for a set of wireless earphones, so your vocal and instrument separation in this range is well defined. Again, ensuring you can appreciate various nuances in this range without much effort. Vocals don't sound nasal at any point, unless of course you listen to very old recordings. Throw a good recording at this and you've got well-rounded vocals that not only carry over a great tone but also a good sense of emotion, which can be missed with many new products. Listening to Josh Tatofi perform the legendary Never Never Never, his voice is carried over with a beautifully rounded tone that I've come to miss hearing with most new earphones in the market, and he does bring a different element to this gorgeous number which most artists don't. I really like that he's made it his own, and I've genuinely enjoyed listening to this piece performed by him with these earphones. Low frequencies have the perfect amount of tweak for me, but I can see some people who will want to go into the EQ settings to give it a little more oomph. This range is just right for electronic music. The upper bass isn't prominent enough to give you a kick in the back of the head, which is why I like it. It's controlled in this region with a little more oomph in the mid and sub bass regions, which does give it that much more weight. If you're more into the lower rumbles in your music, movies and serials, these earphones on their default EQ setting will be more than good enough for you, as I've found them to be. But if you're a bass head, your fingers are going to start itching to go into the manual EQ mode for presets. Listening to Tangerine Race performed by Zed, B. Miller and Ellis, the mid and sub lows have a good amount of weight here without being bloated, which I think is a great way to tune this range, especially if you want to maintain a good sense of clarity in the mids and highs. This range does have a tightness to its delivery thanks to this tuning, which I prefer. Now, if you do want to customize your sound, Earfun does give you various options you can use. Now, you can go into the app, into the Earfun EQ setting, and you don't get just maybe 3 or 4 settings like a lot of other manufacturers do. You get a whole 30 different settings you can choose from, and I'm not going to go in that much detail because it's as it is, this video is pretty long, but you can choose between all of these to sort of really customize the kind of sound you like, and you do get a few other options as well. You get a custom equalizer with 10 bands you can play with, and it has a plus minus 10 dB gain. So if you're into manual control, this is absolutely great. Then you can go into My Sound Profile, which does a test which you should do late at night in a quiet space to get accurate readings. Once you do this, your audio does come alive even more so because of how it compensates for your personal hearing. They've done this well. So to sum up, overall, when it comes to this build, I think they've done a good job with this. In fact, it just carries over the previous generation's build quality, which I quite like, and it's held up very well because I've had those earphones I think for over a year now. So it's held up pretty well. I mean, I have dropped it a few times. It's got a few sort of thumbnail-like scratches because it's a matte finish. If it were glossy, it would have looked very old within just a few weeks, but I think this does hold up very well. And on a comfort front, especially, it just carries over the old design of the Air Pro 3s, and I've not had any discomfort or any issues even over longer listening sessions. Now, I do have a smaller left concha in my left ear, so I sometimes do get pain or discomfort with some earphones. I have not experienced that with any Earfun products just yet. Even the Free Pro 3, I think I did find it comfortable, or did it cause? I don't remember, but with this specific set of earphones, I have not felt any discomfort. I found it pretty comfortable. On a feature front, it's pretty loaded. You get everything you need. I mean, the wireless charging is convenient. It's got a game mode if you want a snappier response time for visual stuff. I usually don't bother with all that because I do prefer having the LDAC codec on. Now, I don't think my phone transmits high-res aptX lossless, so I just choose the LDAC codec. And I can honestly say with this specific set of earphones, it is very noticeable what LDAC is and what SPC is and AAC is. Other earphones, I mean, there's a marginal difference. It's not really worth having LDAC on those earphones. I mean, if you really are into high-res audio, you're better off buying a set of IEMs with a nice external dongle DAC. But this one, there is a more noticeable shift compared to other earphones. So for me, the best feature is the high-res audio. And of course, you do get a lot of stuff within the app, including the active noise cancelling. The noise cancelling, I think, works pretty well. I can't really complain about it because it does really terrifically with droning noises. Even that call test when I was downstairs near all that traffic, it cut out a lot of that droning noise, engine noises, tire noise off the road extremely well. It does have those different adaptive modes. I do wish it just had one particular adaptive mode that was live and active, in the sense where you moved from room to room. If it detected more noise, it would compensate automatically. There are too many user options, I think, so this can be confusing for some people, but it's nice that you've got the options. It's pretty cool that it's got all of these options. But as a performer, it is a very good performer. I mean, for that matter, even some mornings I've sat in my studio near this busy road with my window open, and even pressure horns have not bothered me. You know, when I'm not wearing earphones, it's extremely loud with my window open, but with the window open and this with the active noise cancelling on, I barely noticed that a pressure horn went off. In fact, I remember thinking, wow, I can't believe that was a pressure horn, because these things are terrifically loud. If by any chance you do want to know how it handles calls, I have left a call demo. You can head on over to that chapter to hear whether or not you like how it handles call quality all in all for your recipient. So head on over to that chapter if you want to check it out. On a sound front, I really like how these sound. In fact, when I first heard the first set of earphones I heard was the Air Pro 3. And it sounded like it was tuned by a bunch of people who really like audio. In fact, one of my emails that I did send to them was, who are the people who are designing and tuning these earphones, because it sounds like it's been done by a group of audio enthusiasts and audio engineers. So they replied right back saying, yes, you're absolutely right. We are filled with those kind of people. So this earphone, I think, is very similar on that front. It gives you that sense of, fun and enjoyment. So I have enjoyed listening to these earphones a lot. I really like how they've tuned the highs. A lot of manufacturers are going for, very aggressive tuning in the highs to give you that sense of better quality, but Earfun's not done that. It's tuned just right. It's not aggressive. If you are high frequency sensitive, this is not going to upset you at all. It's very soft in the highs, but at the same time, it's very well detailed. People associate tweaked highs with detail. That's not how it goes. This does have an accentuation in certain frequencies, and it carries them over with a good amount of richness and detail. The mids are very nicely rounded. It's not, thin and tinny like a lot of earphones are. In fact, a lot of IEMs also going that way, sadly, but this is nice and rounded. There's a good amount of depth in the lower mid-range. It's almost something that you can feel. They've really done a good job with that. And the bass, I think, is just right. I think it's more than adequate. I really do like how it sounds. But there are a lot of people who I think will want a lot more, rumble and bloat, and you can go into the tuning for that. Now, the EQ modes, I have tried some bass boost modes in this, and what I like about it is it doesn't get overly bloated. It does get bigger and heavier in the bass, but it doesn't inch toward a point where, some other brands are just too much bass, where the mids and the highs get muddy. These don't do that. So it has definitely been very tastefully tuned, even when it comes to its equalizers. But all in all, it does actually have very good separation in its highs and mids, especially when it comes to listening to anything instrumental, anything classical, anything acoustic. Even the songs that I mentioned to you, it sounds it's a very musical sounding set of earphones. I really do like how Earfun pushes these earphones out when it comes to its music. In fact, I really hope that Earfun gets into the IEM market, because they know what they're doing with sound, and I'm sure they'll do very well in that industry as well. So anyway, overall, I do think that these are super fun to listen to. They're super fun to really pick up and enjoy. And just by the way it sounds alone, I would strongly recommend these if you are a music enthusiast, if you are an audiophile and you want something portable that sounds clean and crisp enough and you really enjoy good sound, this is definitely for you. So moving on to the price. Well, at the time of recording this video, I just checked this evening, it does have an MRP of about 11,498. I don't know why. I think the prices might be fluctuating. I don't remember seeing it so high before, but it at the time of recording this video, and I just checked the price. Selling price at this moment is $10,999, and abroad is being sold for about $89.99. Now they have provided an exclusive discount code which I'll leave over here, so you should be able to avail a discount. Now I will leave the links down below for you if you do want to pick these up, of course. And one thing that's really cool about Earfun is I think with all their products, all of them have an 18-month warranty. And I've heard about the after sales from a lot of people, in fact, and I've not heard one bad thing just yet. I've heard people tell me that, oh, something's gone wrong. I've written to them and they've come back within 24 hours and they've handled it. Now, they don't have an office in India as far as I know, but they're on it when it comes to its customer support. So it's companies like this that look out for their customers that I think will really grow very well. And all in all, they've got a terrific product. When it comes to anything that I've heard from them so far, I really do like what they have to offer. And yeah, of course, I would strongly recommend this. Is it value for money? I'd say pretty much, but I do remember this being a little more affordable. I don't remember this being as expensive as it is a few weeks ago. I don't know why the prices are fluctuating, but I mean, if you've experienced this and you've seen it, you can let me know, or I'll wait for Earfun to let me know what this is about, and I'll update you guys in the comment section, of course. And anyway, there you have it. That's my review on the Earfun Air Pro 4, and I do hope that I've helped you make some sort of purchase decision. And of course, if you would like to support the channel, I'm sure you know exactly how to. But of course, thank you for tuning in to Paul's POV for some sound advice.